Trump train, another gang, you can't hang, cause you watching fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news. Jesus, he died for you, he loves you, you know it's true, he's good news, good news, good news, good news.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm starting to see a dangerous increase in black Trump supporters. And I thought these were outliers, but the way every time I turn around and there's another black influenceable black person who is in support of Donald Trump, it's like I'm surrounded. It's like, I'm like, what is going on? Now, I think what happened was that I was into that Fonnie Willis stuff. That's Fonnie Willis stuff that was going on. And I wanted to see how that played out. Now, there is a black content creator who was explaining all of that, but I didn't want to wait for, her name is I'm Not a Lawyer. I didn't want to wait for her every day, because she was covering other stuff, the YSL trial and all that. So I would look up lives while I was at work, and a lot of these people, and I wanted to support black creators, so I would look for black people who are covering this, and so many of them are Trump supporters. There are black Trump supporters everywhere, YouTube, TikTok, everywhere. And I'm like, wait, we were all here 4 years ago. We were all here when the insurrection happened. We were all here when we saw that man incite violence, and these white people took it upon themselves to storm the Capitol. We were all here when that happened. Do you think that he's going to let it go this time? Do you think he's going to be told that he can't be reelected after this presidency? Do you think he is not going to incite violence again? We were all here through that whole 4 years. How do we get to a point as black people that we're going to be in support of a violent man who is trying his best to be a fucking dictator? How have you lost your mind that hard? How have you done it? How have you lost your mind to the point that you're a black Donald Trump supporter? I know they're out there, but it's so many now. So many people are trying to justify themselves as being black Trump supporters. It is insane to me. We were all here. We all witnessed him being a president. It's not a good look at all. There's nothing is worth it. A stimulus, nothing is worth it. Nothing is worth this violent man who can't take criticism. No, we can't do it.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about Barack Hussein Obama, okay, who is sounding the alarm on the fact that Kamala Harris is losing a core demographic that Democrats take for granted every single election year, right? They think that they're going to get the black male vote every single year, but that's just simply not the case, because a lot of black men are saying enough is enough. I am sick and tired of voting based off identity politics. I'm going to vote based off policy. Okay, what is best for me as a working person in this country, not necessarily based off of my race. But all Democrats have is the race hustle. Okay, and they just assume that black people are going to line up and vote for Kamala Harris because she is black. However, that's not the case. Everybody knows that's not the case. Everybody knows that Kamala Harris is struggling, and that is why she's rolling out Barack Hussein Obama, right? This is why she's rolling out Barack Obama, because she's struggling really badly, right? Including with her core demographic, which is supposed to be black people, okay? And I can tell you right now, Kamala Harris is struggling with black folks because a lot of black people don't believe that she's black, okay? I mean, when you talk about washing collard greens in a bathtub, I knew at that point this woman is not black at all, okay? She's cosplaying as a black woman, okay? I think Rachel Dolezal is blacker than Kamala Harris at this point. She's owed an apology, okay? Because a lot of people said that she's not black, even though, again, I think that Rachel Dolezal is blacker than Kamala Harris. Regardless, right? She's struggling, okay? She's struggling so heavily that, again, they rolled out Barack Obama to try to help her failing campaign.
And the reason some people think, well, I don't know, I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good, because it was my economy. We had 75 straight months of job growth that I handed over to him. It wasn't something he did. I had spent 8 years cleaning up the mess that the Republicans had left me the last time. So just in case everybody has a hazy memory, he didn't do nothing except those big tax cuts. I'm sorry, gentlemen. I've noticed this especially with some men who seem to think Trump's behavior, the bullying and the putting people down, is a sign of strength. And I am here to tell you that is not what real strength is. It never has been. Real strength is about working hard and carrying a heavy load without complaining. Real strength is about taking responsibility for your actions and telling the truth even when it's inconvenient. Real strength is about helping people who need it and standing up for those who can't always stand up for themselves. That is what we should want for our daughters and for our sons, and that is what I want to see in a president of the United States of America.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, right? Barack Obama says that he takes credit for Trump's great economy, right? So again, you have Obama acknowledging that Trump's economy was great, which everybody knows. But he says, Trump ain't do nothing. He ain't do nothing except them tax cuts. And I'm sitting here like, nigga, please. That's what I was thinking, right? Real talk. Real talk. That's what I was thinking the whole time. When this dude was speaking, I was like, nigga, please stop. Stop with the cap. Stop lying. Because that's what he's doing. You're lying. Okay? Those tax cuts that also went to the middle class. Okay? Which, you know, Democrats conveniently leave out, right? I wonder, does Obama support extending the Trump tax cuts, or does he support letting them expire, right? Since the tax cuts were just for the rich, right? Which is what Democrats say. But for whatever reason, nobody ever asked these Democrats, okay, since the tax cuts were just for the rich, okay, do you support extending these tax cuts, right? Do you support letting them expire? That would be a great question for any of the Democrats, right? But for whatever reason, the liberal media never asked the Democrats these questions. But what you're seeing here is desperation. That's what it is, right? He's coming out here, he's gaslighting, he's lying, and trying to take credit for Trump's great economy, right? When we all know that Obama's economy was struggling, okay? Before Obama got in, GDP was at 1.6%. Trump gets into office, it shoots up to 2.3, 2.4, 2.5% consistently, at least until COVID, because Trump's policies, right? His policies, his tax cuts that benefited everybody. Again, I love how Democrats try to act like tax cuts are such a bad thing, right? It's so terrible. Tax cuts, terrible, right? This is what they do. When those tax cuts stimulated the hell out of the economy with damn near no inflation, okay, you had income inequality decreasing, home ownership among the poorest people also increasing, okay, black unemployment at a historic low, right? People's net worth was increasing. Like, people were thriving under the Trump economy, right? And this is why Obama wants to take credit for it, okay? But the real reason that Kamala Harris has rolled out Barack Obama in Pennsylvania is because Kamala Harris is struggling with the core demographic, a key demographic of the Democrat Party, black men, right? Black men, okay? And Obama admitted this during his little visit here, okay, in which he says that, hey, it's the brother's fault that Kamala Harris doesn't have as much momentum. She doesn't have as much support as he had, okay? So he's essentially admitting that Kamala Harris is struggling, and he's essentially blaming the brothers, right? The black men, for why Kamala Harris is struggling as much as she is right now. Take a look.
Communities is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. He's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
Governor Walz, according to Politico, is going to be going out on a men tour, literally a tour of media to appeal to men.
They need to appeal to the needs of the voters. And so when I was a delegate for President Obama in both of his elections in Ohio, right now the vice president is down 11 points in Ohio, even though I fully expect President Trump to take Ohio as he did twice, but to be down 11 points compared to President Biden, that is a problem. But this other issue I want to bring up is a problem too. Why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group? Now, a lot of love for former President Obama, but for him to single out black men is wrong. And some of the black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from black women. And why? As a politician, we should be trying to get all voters to vote. And hopefully there are a few good men out there who do care about the stripping away of some of women's bodily autonomy. But this is wrong for President Obama. It is a wrong course for the Harris-Walz campaign to lay at the feet of black men when they have their reasons. In 2020, the vice president was labeled a cop, as we know.
But do you think, sorry to interrupt you, Nina, but do you think he's right that one of the reasons is because they don't like the idea of
it might be some listen, black men are socialized in the same society as any other man. So yes, is misogyny maybe a part of it? But again, is President Obama and is the Harris-Walz campaign going to lecture other male groups in the same way that they're lecturing
This is
black
not
men?
just about...
I don't think so.
It's not just about Pennsylvania. It's not just about men. It sounds like there's a concern that there's a broad problem for Vice President Harris with the blue wall. It's basically...
Bruh. The gaslighting is absolutely insane from Obama, bruh. You know, this dude being out of the spotlight, it makes you forget how much of a snake this man actually really is. And then when you start to hear this man speak, you're like, okay, this is why I really didn't like Obama too much, okay? Because this dude is a snake, bruh. Listen to this man. He is really trying to shame black men for not supporting Kamala Harris by saying that, well, she's black just like you guys, right? Which is highly debatable, okay? And again, Barack Obama is not somebody I would go to as a source or somebody that I would find to be a credible voice on so-called blackness. Again, considering how he is East African, okay? Half East African and half white, okay? So he's not somebody that has any credibility on this. But this dude's trying to say, oh, well, she grew up with you. She went to the same school like you guys. She's just like you guys. Nah, she ain't like us, right? She's not like us, okay? Collard greens, watching collard greens in the bathtub, curry greens is not like us, okay? I didn't grow up in a Hindu household, right? I didn't grow up taking summer vacations to India, going to Canada, right? No, I didn't grow up like that, right? I did not grow up like Kamala Harris, okay? I did not. So don't sit here and try to say that Kamala Harris is like me. She is not like me. She is not, okay? Don't play me like that, right? Obama's trying to play these young black males like they're stupid, right? This is downright offensive, okay? I was offended when I heard Barack. I'm like, bro, what the hell are you talking about? Talking about she grew up like me. No, she did not. No, she did not, okay? This woman is Indian. She grew up as an Indian woman, something that I have no connection with. So don't play the identity politics game. And this is what they do when they don't have anything, right? When he can't give you any real policy that's going to help you out, right? As an American, right? Take race out of it. When you can't do that, they play the race card, right? Which is that, oh, well, you shouldn't be supporting her because she's black and you're black, right? That's basically Obama's argument, okay? And then this man tries to say that, well, she had to work harder than everybody else as well, too, because she's black. And I'm like, no, don't play me with that either. She did not have to work harder because she was black. Okay, this woman, again, for all intents and purposes, I think that she had a leg up in the game, right? For various reasons, right? She had some advantages, okay? I mean, allegedly, she was taking advantage of the fact that she's a woman. She was using her sexuality as a woman in order to get ahead in politics. And you know that this is true because the Kamala stands get all butthurt about it when anybody brings it up in a conversation. They get so hurt and triggered.
James from Cali. What's up, James?
Hey, I've been hearing this. I just wanted to see if you knew for sure. Did 29-year-old Kamala Harris sleep with 60-year-old Willie Brown? And did he start her career?
Why are you faxing a 59-year-old woman? Who did you sleep with 30 years ago? And did they start your career?
Can you fact check that?
No, I asked you a question. Who were you sleeping with 30 years ago? Do you know who you slept with 30 years ago?
Well, I'm not a politician, so I'm not running for
but you
president.
asking about somebody. So let's run your facts. Who did you sleep with 30 years ago? Why is that since it's your business who she slept with? Then that's our business now. Since you didn't call into a international radio show, who did you sleep with 30 years ago? Do you remember?
You a hoe I ain't voting for.
And you a clown. You a stupid, goofy ass clown. That's the dumbest shit. You should be fucking embarrassed to call into a national radio show running a 30-year-old facts. What the does that have to do with the goddamn price of tea in China? You are goofy. This is the dumbest shit I ever heard in my whole life. You ain't said shit about motherfucking gas prices, grocery prices, climate changes, a whole motherfucking hurricane in this country. People running for cover. And you talk about somebody maybe, possibly, potentially 30 years ago? That don't sound goofy to you? Grow up. Grow up. Maybe you need to get you some. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you ain't got none, and that's why you worried about who the hell she was potentially or not sleeping with 30 years ago. That's embarrassing. That's disgraceful that you called him with that stupid ass question. Like we ain't got more pressing shit in the world to motherfucker about. Are you serious?
Yeah, no, I think it's actually pretty serious, right? I think it's actually very, very serious and a legitimate question because that is the only explanation that I can think of off the top of my head as to why or how Kamala Harris is currently in the position that she's in right now, okay? Because we all know that Kamala Harris was selected as VP because she's a so-called woman of color, right? Because she's black, okay? We also know that Kamala Harris was put into positions of power, okay, in California early on in her career because she was allegedly sleeping with senior citizens, okay? This is a fact, okay? This is not speculation, right? This is a fact. Willie Brown put her in positions that she otherwise was not qualified for, and she used that in order to help her get elected, okay, to become a district attorney, to become an attorney general, to advance her career. We know this for a fact, okay? This woman is so incompetent that she doesn't realize that it's a problem when you come out here and you say that you're just like Joe Biden, right? You're just like the most unpopular president in recent history, and that you wouldn't do anything different than what he did, but yet you're running as the so-called change candidate, right? Yeah, I mean, I got questions about how is it that somebody that's this politically inept can reach the office of vice president, right? I mean, I'm serious. I'm so serious. Being a woman must be a serious advantage, right? You must have a serious advantage as a woman if you're willing to weaponize your God-given assets enough, right? If you're willing to use it enough, the sky's the limit. Apparently, right? You can potentially become president of the United States, okay? That's what it seems like to me, because I can't think of any other reason for why this woman is currently in the position that she's in, considering what she showed us, right? If Kamala Harris was so great, she would not need Barack Obama to come out here and to gaslight the American people, to lie to the American people, to shame young black men into trying to support Kamala Harris, right? She wouldn't need all that. She wouldn't need a race and identity politics. She can stand on her own 2 feet, right? But she can't stand on her own 2 feet. She's struggling. She's struggling because she's incompetent, right? So when you bring up Kamala Harris's history and how she got into the current position of power that she's in, yeah, I think that's super relevant. 100%, right? These people love to mind your own business, except when it comes to Trump, right? They want everybody else to mind their own business, but these people was all up in the business of Trump and his personal life and what he was doing, right? They were all into that. Now all of a sudden, when it comes to Kamala Harris, nah, you're not supposed to worry about who she slept with and, you know, who she has been with before in the past. But when it came to Trump, though, they were totally concerned about who he may or may not have slept with. Funny how that works, right? Amazing. The hypocrisy. Stunning. So, with that being said, again, this is just desperation, right? I mean, what is happening here? You have Barack Obama essentially admitting that Kamala Harris is struggling with a key demographic. Black men are just not going for this anymore. And if Obama was a real one, right? If he was a real one, he would keep it all the way 100 with these black men and say, hey, you know what? I understand exactly where you're coming from. Because this border issue is probably, economically speaking, the number one threat to black men in this country. When you have all these illegals coming into this country en masse, they are competing for jobs primarily with black men, right? The people that are threatened the most economically are young black men. A lot of people don't want to admit it, but that's the truth, okay? And Kamala's policies, Joe Biden's policies, have disproportionately negatively impacted young black men. So I'm not sure exactly why would a young black man line up and support Kamala Harris, who has open border policies that are a direct economic threat to young black men and their jobs and opportunities. I really don't get it. I really don't understand it. But see, Barack Obama is not a real one. Again, he's half white, half East African, right? He presents himself as a real one, but he's not. He's just a Democrat, okay? And Democrat doesn't equal pro-black, because if he was pro-black, if he was actually looking out for the black man, he would be real about how illegal immigration has negatively affected young black men. But he can't keep it real because, again, his job is to try to get black people to line up and to vote for their own destruction. That's his job. He don't care. This is why he supports abortion, which also negatively, disproportionately impacts black people. He don't care. It's just all about Democrat power and control. And this is why when these people weaponize identity politics in order to try to get votes, this is why I find it to be disgusting. Because it's not like the policies that Democrats are promoting are actually pro-black or they benefit black people. They just tell you that, well, you should support Kamala Harris because she looks like you. She has the same experiences you do. But in this case, they can't even play that card because it's very debatable about whether or not she's actually black. Again, it's funny how that works. But again, the fact that this dude is even admitting this at all, the fact that he said this out loud tells you everything you need to know about how Kamala Harris is severely struggling. So they now have to roll out the big guns. They got to roll out the competent politicians like Obama and Bill Clinton and others in order to do what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have failed to do, which is to get people excited about voting for a failing ticket, right? That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing, okay? They're trying to get the American people to vote for a shit sandwich. That's what they're trying to do. And I personally just don't think it's going to work. I don't think the Obama card is going to work. I just don't think so, right? I think that the Obama card is played out. Obama can't save you when you've had the last 4 years of absolute disaster, when you have a very incompetent politician at the top of the ticket who nobody's excited about except liberal women. That's it. That's it. That's the only thing the Democrats got at this point. That's all they got, right? So, I mean, it is what it is. I just personally, hope that people do not fall for this. Okay, do not fall for the Obama card. The Obama card is simply another sign of desperation, a sign that Kamala Harris is not doing as well as she should be doing. And, I think personally, they're trying to just throw anything at the wall at this point and see if it sticks. I don't think it's going to work, but hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.